It's time for another ARC book review, and this time it is Showmance by Beguelin. I think I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. This was a really fun book. It kind of gave me vibes of The Charm Offensive, if you've read that book. Kind of gave me some of those like very like quirky, witty kind of vibes with like a little bit more seriousness happening in the background. So in this book, we follow Noah Adams, who unfortunately just had yet another one of his Broadway musicals kind of flop, and this time it was actually on Broadway. So him and his boyfriend, Chase, who is also his manager, go back to his hometown for him just to kind of do a little bit of some R&R. And while he is there, his manager slash boyfriend, Chase, decides, why don't you try to do the musical here in your local, theater and kind of do it like that. Maybe this will give you like a second chance, and maybe this will give you some more creative juices flowing for something new. So Noah reluctantly agrees to do this. He doesn't really want to, but he reluctantly agrees to do it. Now, also another character in this book, we have Luke, who is Noah's former school bully. But everything is not what it seems to be with that situation, and we learn a little bit more about Luke and really what happened with this bullying situation between Luke and Noah as the book progresses. So I will say this is going to be kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but also just kind of like a content warning. If you look at the description of this book, you will know that the book is a romance between Noah and Luke. And obviously, as I stated, Noah does have a boyfriend, Chase, at the beginning of this book. There is a minor amount of cheating in this book between Luke and Noah. It is a quick kiss. While Noah is still with Chase. So if cheating is something you're not into, just know going into this that there is just a little bit of some cheating between the two main characters. So outside of all of that, this book was really fun. Like I said, it really gave me a lot of that Charm Offensive kind of like witty humor. But there's also a little bit of some growth and development. Noah, when we first start the book, I'm going to be really honest, is kind of an awful person. And I say awful in that he is kind of a little bit too self-centered. He definitely doesn't want to be back in Illinois, definitely kind of looks a little bit down on the people around him, especially the ones in doing this theater production of his Broadway musical. But he really grows over time, and I absolutely loved watching his growth. He starts to realize that, one, he takes himself way too seriously. And he kind of has to step back and, have a little bit more fun, be a little bit more willing to change up plans and, things that were supposed to happen. We also see that he starts to kind of realize that it's okay to take constructive criticism from other people. While they're putting up this musical, the individuals who are in the musical kind of come to him when they're like, hey, this doesn't really make sense, or why are we doing this? And, at first he's very reluctant, hesitant to change anything, gets really kind of upset that they're like questioning anything he put in this musical. But as time goes on, he starts realizing like, hey, actually that's a really good idea. Why don't we change it and see what happens? I loved Luke in this book. Luke is such a little sweetheart. He is definitely, he was the golden boy in high school, but he also had a lot of struggles growing up. He is, has a single mother. She's kind of the pariah of the town. There's like a whole big history with that. He grew up in a trailer park. And he talks about how much, he looked up kind of to Noah, and how he, always liked Noah, but felt like there was like no connection. Noah was, reading like Shakespeare and things like this and having really intellectual conversations. And Luke says that, he just never felt like he could kind of do that. So I loved Luke. I think he was so sweet, and I think he was really good for Noah, like I said, and kind of getting Noah to not take himself as seriously. He kind of pushes Noah to do a couple fun things, like going to a balloon festival and dressing up as a clown to do face makeup, things that Noah would have never done before. Luke kind of gets him to do that, and I think he was really great for Noah, just for his character growth and development and the changes that we see from Noah from the beginning of the book to the end of it. So in terms of spice for this book, I will say it's kind of a little bit more fade to black. There's not really any like spicy on screen moments. We kind of get like the start and finish of things. So it's not a very super spicy book. I've definitely read much more spicy books. But, even with it being a very low spice book, I think it was great. And I think all of the sex scenes and the more physical connection scenes between the two, they were developed really well. And like I said, we do have this moment of the two of them kissing, and we see kind of like Noah, how he handles calling Chase to tell Chase about this and kind of the aftermath of everything that happens with that. And I think that was really handled well. You know, at no point did anybody in Noah's life let him kind of get away with the fact that he clearly cheated on his boyfriend. I feel like too many books where, you know, the two main characters finally get together, I feel like there's too many enablers around them that are like, oh, it's fine that you cheated. No, his mother like literally forces him to go make this phone call. So I absolutely love their relationship together, the development of it. I think it was written in a way that actually makes sense and was very realistic. So Showmance does come out on October 1st, and I think it's a really fun kind of, you know, very low angst, just, you know, kind of rom-com-y romance. So if you're looking for something where you're like, I just don't want a whole lot of like drama and angst and hurt comfort, I just want a fun little book, you know, especially for fall or whatever, I think this is going to be the one that you're going to really enjoy. I absolutely had a thrill reading this book. And I think it's a book that people are going to really enjoy once it comes out.